How one sees oneself is especially important when others fail to see their worth. This comes into play for Laymon and his friends when they watch a high school basketball player who is said to be the country's best. Luck, 1147. Despite the racism all around them, they begin to picture themselves in the roles of engineer and teacher. Throughout the book, they make an effort to see themselves as they are instead of focusing on the labels that others try to give them. Even fictional portrayals of white and black characters reinforce the idea to the boys that the world is full of erroneous assumptions. In the face of these falsehoods, they remind each other that they are beautiful and filled with possibility despite the abuse and disrespect they get from their white oppressors. The idea of black abundance becomes their rallying cry to celebrate their great worth and potential. Others have the power to put labels on a person and make life difficult, but they can't control the way a person sees himself. Anger can punish the one who holds a grievance more than it does those who have committed hurtful acts. While Laymon's life story is full of instances of abuse and flagrant prejudice, the aggressors, in many cases, are not shown to be weighed down at the thought of their misdeeds. Rather, it's those they commit the acts against who are burdened by their anger, in addition to the pain inflicted on their lives. Moreover, holding on to anger can take the focus off constructive introspection on how best to carry on in the face of contemptible behavior. A person is best served by taking care of his own well-being rather than focusing on others and things he can't control. As Laymon's beloved grandmother tells him, one should turn their minds to the good things in their lives rather than dwelling on past hurts, no matter how egregious. An addiction or body image issue stems from something more profound than a longing to be thin or overindulge on treats. A variety of factors are in play as Laymon struggles with his weight. One of the most important is the issue of control. Beset with economic woes and unfair treatment at the hands of those who judge him by the color of his skin, he sees in his diet one thing he can control. He can order free casino pancakes and omelets once he's gambled away money he has no power to get back. Frustrated with the dating scene and feeling too fat to socialize, he stays home and eats pizza. The fact that food was sometimes scarce in his childhood home fuels his need to control that part of his life. Similarly, the thin version of himself feeds his need for control with obsessive exercise, sometimes seeing weight loss as a way to disappear. Meanwhile, he laments the things he can't control in an environment where police and others seem determined to stop his group's style of flying. Heaviness, to Laymon, becomes synonymous with inferiority in the eyes of racists. To white folks and police, you will always be huge no matter how skinny you are, he tells himself as his weight fluctuates. At other times, indulging in denial are used as forms of punishment. People can be held back by a reluctance to face the ugly details of their past or their current situations. At the same time, they can find momentary comfort in forgetting. Such is the case with Laymon's grandmother, who in one scene wants to forget about her day spent washing other people's dirty clothes, the kind of work that Laymon says made us feel like we were dying. She takes the forgetting too far, however, by refusing to look at her reflection and see the evidence of her advancing years. Like her, others in the book paint pictures in their minds of lives that are better than the ones they live. But success requires a good hard look at one's situation, complete with all the ugliness and whatever dangers might be looming. Facing a problem head-on is the first step to a solution. Impactful moments of one's life should be carefully re-examined for new truths. In the process, one may begin to challenge long-held notions about people and events that have shaped him or her. Sometimes storytelling can be a way of holding different lenses to the same event in order to decide which version of the story is closest to the truth. Hard questions should be asked. Is the long-accepted version of an incident masking ugly truths that are too hard to face? Another vital step is looking at these memories from the viewpoint of others. This can lead to a more complete and truthful version of events that might still haunt someone today and hold them back. The book begins with a decision not to look away from the ugliness of events as they truly played out. As characters struggle throughout the book to improve their lives and the world around them, the author challenges others as well as himself to be honest in their quest to understand the events that shaped them. In a memoir that is written as a raw and heartfelt letter to his mother, Laymon wrestles with questions about relationships and survival in a world rife with unfairness. The narrative takes Laymon from his days as an overweight African-American youth in a book-centered but sometimes abusive home to his life as a college instructor, still grappling with addictions, painful memories, and the barriers placed on him by racial discrimination. Despite wildly fluctuating numbers on the scale, Laymon still carries with him the weight of his past. The memoir is ultimately a meditation on the many ways that people lie to themselves and to others as the author takes an unflinching look at the hidden truths in his own life and the lives of family members. A deep longing for connection with family members can persist despite mistreatment and years of miscommunication. Although beaten by her in his youth, the young Laymon still delights and finds great comfort in the presence of his mother. In the wake of violence by her hand, he imagines the kinds of conversations he wishes he could have with her about the issues that confront him in his daily life. Even though his mother is not there for him in those moments, it's her voice that he hears in his head telling him the things that he longs to hear. Their relationship contains moments of tenderness interspersed with violence, which both gives him hope and causes him confusion. As their story plays out, it is shown that frank conversations and intervention by other family members can help bring healing into situations that have caused great despair. Honesty in conversation is essential. Family members need to know that they'll continue to be loved despite the darkest secrets that they might reveal. Secrets can lead to misunderstandings and create emotional distance between family members. Learning can instill confidence, as well as arming a person with information to expand and improve their life. Encouraged by his mother, Laymon reads and writes voraciously as a way of understanding more about himself and the world. While much is denied to him because of his race and economic status, he still can indulge in books. When he questions something or has an important experience, his mother encourages him to seek to understand the situation better by putting it in words. Writing is important to Laymon, not only as a way to explore his own thoughts but as a way to incorporate in his viewpoint the experiences and language of great thinkers and others in his life. The knowledge he is able to accumulate can sometimes ease the sting of being looked down upon because of people's prejudicial views. He makes sure his research is accurate and thorough, knowing his oppressors are always on the lookout for signs of inferiority in him. A person can't control the fact that there will always be unfairness and misfortune. But one thing a person can control is the way they think. There can be great power in the ability to focus on the good and on the things that one can do to change hurtful situations. At one point, Laymon is reminded that he spent too much time trying to change the way that other people thought. He should have focused more, he says, on the possibilities he and his friends saw in themselves when they were young. He can, after all, control his own mindset but not other people's. The language that one uses to frame their thoughts can also be important in how they view a loss, a betrayal, or minor, aggravating issue that messes up their day. Looked at in one way, a problem might be seen as a game changer. Framed in a different language, it might seem solvable. Laymon's mother, an educator, taught him to use words to find the truth and hope in every situation.